Hey, Jimmy, at my age, it's important to start thinking about estate planning, and so that's what I want to do.
Well, we better start digging into that.
I'm Archie Hoxton.
And I'm Rob Hoxton.
And this is Last Paycheck, weekly wisdom to help you retire and stay that way.
Welcome back to Last Paycheck, weekly wisdom to help you retire and stay that way. I'm your host, Rob Hoxton.
And I'm Jimmy Sutch.
And together we work at Hoxton Planning and Management, but we are here to help you navigate some of the important things about estate planning. You know, it's not an exciting topic usually, and a lot of people think of estate planning as something that the wealthy need, but in reality, we all need to do at least some estate planning, and there are three really important documents that we're going to talk about. And you know, we run into this all the time. We see people who haven't planned and how difficult that can be for families and for survivors. So we want to make sure that you're all squared away when you start thinking about end-of-life issues.
Yeah, I mean, we bring this up often to our clients, often. And you can kind of see the boredom glaze over their faces.
It's true.
Right? They don't want to talk about it. It's not fun to plan for events that you don't want to happen. One being maybe incapacitated, right? And the other being inevitable death. So there's a few things. There's the lack of excitement behind it because you're planning for things that you do not want to happen. I will say, oftentimes, and we've sat in a lot of these meetings with clients and people that we work with, and the biggest problem is that people don't have these documents in place. Not necessarily how the document is written or things like that, but just the sheer fact that they don't even have the documents in place.
Right. And if you don't, well, somebody's going to make a decision as to what happens with your stuff.
Right.
Right. And either you make that decision or the state makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never known a government to do a particularly good job of reading our minds or doing what we think is best.
It's true. It's true. One of the things that most people plan for is to keep the government outside of their affairs, right?
Yep.
But nonetheless, and again, we didn't talk about this too much prior, but if you were to guess, what do you think the amount of people in terms of percentages have these documents done?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I probably should have looked that up. I'm hoping that you did.
I did, of course.
Yeah, okay, good. You always do your homework well. That's great. What is the percentage?
So, interestingly enough, or not, it does go up by age, right? So 24% of people from 18 to 34 years old have a will. 27% of people from 25 to 54 have a will. And then up at 72 years of age, 81% of people have a will. So it seems as if those things get a little bit closer to fruition, people begin to plan.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because, you know, there comes a point in life. I'm at 60, I'm starting to see this, you know, when I go back for class reunions, there aren't as many people there.
Right.
And so you start to see with your peers and, you know, lifelong friends, the ones that didn't plan well.
Right.
And the ones that have disharmony in the family when they do pass away, it becomes pretty obvious that, hey, I need to get my stuff in order.
Sure. So I kind of lifted the curtain there. So the first document we want to talk about is the will.
Right.
So what does the will cover?
So sometimes the long version of that is the last will and testament.
Yep.
So I love that. I love the last will because when I think of will, I think, what is your will? What do you want to happen? It's also the and testament piece of it. And I'm not speaking from a legal standpoint, but when I think of testament, I think of testimony. It is your opportunity to speak about what's important to you, what your values are, who you want to have the things that you worked hard for, who you want to have that, you know, to receive that once you're gone. So the last will and testament is a really great way to communicate all of those important things. But it's really essentially, I have these things and this is who I want to receive them. So it might be your house. Mm-hmm. It could be your fishing rod collection.
Right. It's interesting. Very unique way to look at it is almost like assigning a beneficiary to things that don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
right? So like your retirement accounts or even your savings account at the bank or your transfer on death account, like you can assign a beneficiary to all of those accounts, right? You can kind of give those assets direction, and your will is able to do that in situations where you can't just sign a form.
That's a great point. Last week we were in a client meeting, and we were trying to encourage them to update their beneficiaries on their various financial accounts, and they're like, "Well, I have that all stated in my will." So, Jimmy, what wins? What governs? Is the will the final word, or is the named beneficiary on an account the final word?
Yeah, so the small percentage of people that go see that estate attorney and get these documents in place, sometimes they think that the will supersede beneficiary designations, and that's not the case. So, as important as the will is, following that meeting, you want to make sure if you have any updates to make to your retirement accounts or any accounts in particular at all, you just want to make sure that happens because the will is not going to outdo the beneficiary designations on your accounts.
Okay, there you heard it. That's important, really important. And I think sometimes you see this in the context of people who've had multiple marriages,
Absolutely.
right? So maybe you've got this account and you were married and you forgot to take your ex off as the beneficiary, and now you've married somebody else, and you think you're okay because the will says that everything you have goes to your new spouse.
Right, right, and we see that oftentimes with, especially with young people. Younger people tend to job hop a little bit more, and they look for that dream job. It's very easy to have that job from, 1 or 2 jobs prior to have girlfriend or boyfriend number 1 listed, and you're now on boyfriend or girlfriend number 5,
Yeah.
right? Or wife or husband. So, nonetheless, you just wanna make sure all the accounts, are up to date.
So even if your will says that your current spouse is going to get it, if the beneficiary wording on the account says that the ex is going to get it, the ex is going to get
The
it.
ex is gonna get it, and especially there's probably gonna be some legal dispute as well, so lawyers are gonna get it as well, I guess,
Yeah,
but
they're going to get
no
some of it. Yeah.
but
good point.
nonetheless
Yeah.
nonetheless.
So the will, that's the first document. You
Yep.
got to make sure you have that in place. There are different ways you can do wills. You can go to an attorney and do a will. You can go online and get a will. You can actually take a piece of paper and write a will.
You can.
And in some places, simply saying a will is enough.
Right.
Now, we're not attorneys. We're not practicing law here, but you need to, I would say don't do it verbally. I would say don't even just do it on a piece of paper. Get somebody to
Yeah,
write that for you.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to do it, right? Primarily, if it's a little bit more complicated, for sure, go seek out an attorney that you trust, for sure. If you're younger and you have a very, very simple estate planning needs and kinda simple life, yeah, there's plenty of resources online that you can probably find.
Yeah.
That will be reasonable, so those are probably the 2 options we use the most.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure you know that we have a great tool that's free of charge that you can use called the Estate Planning Checklist. You can get to that by going to hoxtonpm.com, click on the tab for resources, go to worksheets. There are a bunch of great tools in there, but one of them for this show is the Estate Planning Checklist. Make sure you check it out. What do you think the next important estate planning document is to have?
One of the most important, especially in the world that we operate in, is probably the healthcare directive.
Yeah.
This is important, especially as you plan for retirement, so they're a little bit later stages of life. Incapacitation can happen, right?
Mhm.
Certainly can happen to younger people too, but I think that's one of the most important.
So the scenario is with a healthcare directive is you're in a hospital
Mhm.
and you can't make your own healthcare decisions because you're incapacitated, as you
Right.
said. It's basically a document where you say, this is what I want done if I can't make the decision for
Mhm.
myself. And I've heard lots of different ways of doing it. In fact, I had one old client early in my career who said, this is the way I'm handling it. If I can't make healthcare decisions for me, I just told my wife every morning when I wake up, I want you to stick a pillow over my face, and if I can't fight you off,
Yeah.
I don't want to live
It's
anymore.
game over, yeah.
That's so. But no, if you think about it, if you are in an extended vegetative state,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to be kept alive using
Like
technology?
life-sustaining
Yeah.
treatments or anything like that.
Or do you just want to just not have all that, and you can go and peacefully, and then your family
Right.
actually has something to inherit?
Like we said, these are mostly things you don't necessarily want to think about.
Yeah, that's right.
But nonetheless, the great thing about that is the the directive part, right? You can actually guide the person, your healthcare agent, into making the right decisions. So oftentimes that will remove a lot of stress and anxiety from the situation, especially if it's a daughter or a son that has to make some decisions for you. Especially when it comes to end of life treatment, it can remove a lot of that anxiety from it.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay to let me go. This is what
Like,
I
this
said I
is
want.
what mom or dad or whomever wanted. This is the
Yeah.
right decision.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's important to know that if your loved one, if you have that authority to make healthcare decisions for a loved one, and that loved one is in the hospital or under care, you need to have that document with you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have that document with you, even if that document has already been filed with the healthcare facility. So if the hospital has that living will or the healthcare directive already filed in the record, you need to have it with you anyway, right? Don't go to the hospital without it. You just need to have it. Trust me. And I've seen it not be honored
Right.
if you don't.
Right. And to kind of make this flow, you have the will, and oftentimes the will assign the executor. The executor oftentimes becomes, or will be also your healthcare agent. You find that trusted person, and then you have a successor of some kind, but that's kind of the flow.
Yeah, it's a good
Typically,
point.
commonly.
The third document that we really want to talk about is similar to the healthcare directive in that somebody else is empowered to make decisions on your behalf, but it's typically called a power of attorney. So they may have the ability to make non-healthcare decisions for you,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I see this often too. You see, you'll see like a healthcare power of attorney or healthcare agent, um, and that may be the son or the daughter, and then you'll have the financial power of attorney, and that may be a different person. Could certainly be the same person, but they're definitely two different tasks for sure. The financial power of attorney, right? They're going to make decisions on your financial affairs and your accounts if something were to happen to you and you become incapacitated.
Yeah, so a real life scenario might be, okay, you've got dementia or you've been in an accident and you can't take care of your own affairs. That person with that power of attorney might be the person who needs to pay your bills.
Right.
If the mortgage doesn't get paid, then the bank can take the house. Well, you don't want that to happen simply because dad's,
Right.
in the hospital or in a some sort of healthcare facility. So having that, appointing somebody to be your power of attorney for financial and other important life management reasons is super important.
Yeah, it's important too, because there are events where you might just be temporarily out of order, I'll call it. And if you need, you know, medical attention, but that medical attention or treatment needs to be paid for, this person needs to be able to get access to your funds to pay for that surgery, and kind of keep everything rolling. So, two very important things.
And if you have investment accounts and bank accounts and you can't prove that you're capable of making financial decisions, I know that in our role as a financial advisor, we're going to look for a power of attorney that can act on your behalf.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's super important that you
Very
have that. So So in summary, there are three primary documents that you need in a basic estate plan. If you have a more complicated situation, you might need other types of documents as well. But there's the will, there's the health directive, and then there's the power of attorney. Those are the three most important to have squared away. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to do it.
Right. It's just important that you get it done.
That's right.
You get it done. You can, and again, if you're somebody that's 35 or 25, there might be more kids down the way, more spouses down the way. Nonetheless, you just want to make sure you get the documents in place. You can get these documents amended or redone down the line. But the biggest error with all of this is just not having them.
Right. Well, that pretty much sums it up for today. If this is interesting to you, make sure you always tune in to Last Paycheck. You can subscribe, tell your friends and family. You can click the bell for notices. And if you like it, please say like and leave a comment. If you have an episode that you'd like to hear us talk about, you can also suggest that, and we'll try to do that. Thanks again for tuning into Last Paycheck.
You've been watching Last Paycheck, weekly wisdom to help you retire and stay that way. If you like this show, be sure to hit like and subscribe. Last Paycheck is available anywhere you get your podcasts.